This Week 10 matchup has major playoff implications for Jordan Love and the Packers and Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both of these teams are well within the fight for a wild card spot within the each respecting conference as well. Steelers are still kind of in the fight for the division. I feel like the Packers are not in the fight for the division, considering the fact that they are 3 games back from the Detroit Lions as of right now. And the Minnesota Vikings are also in their way as well. While the Steelers, are just in a loaded AFC just in general, but then they are only a game and a half back from the Baltimore Ravens. So still well within the fight of everything. So major matchup here for both these teams, for teams with major flaws on the offensive side of the ball for both teams. So I'll say this out now. I know statistically probably both teams give up a lot of yards defensively, but I actually don't hate both teams' defenses. I think maybe the secondary for Pittsburgh is improving. TJ Watt is TJ Watt, so we know how great he's going to be. Then on the flip side as well, with the Packers, I feel like they still just get after the ball, and they actually have one of the – let me double-check this here – one of the better pass defenses in the league, giving up less than 1,600 passing yards per game, so less than 200 passing yards per game. And running the ball wise, run defense wise, they are not. They're middle of the road. So giving them just less than 1,000 yards rushing. So not horrible. And the Pittsburgh Steelers as well they've given up a lot of rushing yards, and then they've also have given up a decent bit of passing yards. Well, then also middle of the road. But I feel like that's not a good representation of how both of these teams play. Like they don't have too many high-scoring games and haven't given up too many points allowed overall. Yeah, I've been talking a lot here, but I want to throw it over to you. What are your overall thoughts on both of these teams so far this season and just expectations for this game?
Well, the Packers have definitely underperformed. Being 3-5, I thought they would be better. With that being said, they have suffered a decent bit of injuries on the offensive side of the ball. The most significant one, David Bakhtiari. Christian Watson has been in and out of the lineup with injuries as well. And he is their best receiver by a pretty large margin. He's also tied for the most experience in not just the receiver room, but the pass catchers as a whole. It's Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs are second-year guys. Everybody else, including both tight ends, are rookies. And then Jordan Love making his first full season as the starter. I just think they have an experience problem, not a talent problem. Because I like a lot of the guys that they have in that room. It's just with missing David Bakhtiari, who's kind of probably a leader there, and then Jordan Love not having the experience to lead this offense, and then getting some injured weapons thrown in there as well. Also, Aaron Jones missed a good portion of time as well. So that not doing the offense any favors in a room that was already lacking experience. And then on the flip side, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I thought this offensive line would be better than it was last year, and statistically it really hasn't been. But weapons-wise, like George Pickens, Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson has come back. Like Pat Freiermuth, I know he's been battling just some nagging injuries, I believe.
He's on IR right now still.
He is.
Hamstring injury.
Yeah. And so that they have weapons. I think just what everybody's calling for is Matt Canada's head in just his uncreative and vanilla play calling is just very predictable.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That's a lot to unpack there. Let's stick with the Steelers here. Yeah, I think to me, it's really hard to get a good feel on the overall talent that a lot of the skill position players have because of the offensive line struggles. Which is still young and developing. We knew that kind of coming in. Honestly, I think a majority of the existence of our channel, like even when they drafted Najee Harris on our first ever draft, we're like, they need a lineman. Najee Harris is actually a good running back. It's just they just still need good linemen. But then on the flip side, though, Matt Canada also, you're right, offensive coordinator, just seems to just be struggling to just be consistent. It's almost like they're doing too much. It seems like all at once, too much motion. I don't know if that's really the case. But then I say that, though, because we were talking about this before we started recording, is we were debating if Kenny Pickett is a good quarterback or not. And you're more confident in your opinion on it. I can agree with you probably on it. But at the same time, I feel like it's hard to get a good judge on him as a whole because he's played a full season now, so he's outside of his rookie status. Because he picked up at week 6 last year.
Yeah, something like that.
And so he has been injured off and on. It seemed like, but just the offense as a whole just seems like there's all the pieces that are there. Just still trying to figure out the puzzle.
Yeah, and that's so like. This is my problem with like Mac Jones and the Patriots, and it's like you could very easily just get stuck in he showed some glimmers of promise and he's made some good throws, but other times he just doesn't look like he's the guy. So then you have these two sides that are super juxtaposed on who like on if this quarterback should stay or not. And really, if you have to have this debate about if your quarterback is the guy or not, he's probably not the guy. Right. Like that's and so that's kind of where I am with Kenny Pickett at the moment. Now, with that being said, I don't think Matt Canada is doing a great job in supporting his young quarterback.
Yeah.
So
no, and I think that's fair. I want to jump over to the Packers as well because you mentioned that you thought they were underperforming. I think that's fair to think, but then I was just thinking about us preseason, like we had no idea really
that's true
what they would be like. And I think losing Bakhtiari, they also have a weak offensive line. It's almost like the same situation, really, I think, offensively. Just young skill position players, maybe still trying to learn the league. You can question the offense, but I feel like I've liked Matt LaFleur and the offense that they've run with the Packers. Maybe you could say it's the first year, it's the first like Aaron Rodgers is not in the building, so trying to figure this out as well. But I can also understand why a lot of people are upset as the Packers. But I do like the pieces there as well, but it just seems they just get off to such slow starts. And honestly, this is where I think their defense is above average outside of the overall total yards allowed, is because it's like they're able to keep them in a lot of these games because that defense is good. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Both these teams are still in the playoff hunt. It's a very unique game and a unique setup because I feel like neither franchises are super confident about their team right now, yet they're like, it's a meaningful game in November. So it's going to be interesting to watch. But before we get into predictions here, if you haven't already, leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win. And also subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan and I, we do prediction videos for every single game. So if you want to see future Packers and Steelers content, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And Ryan, I want to throw it over to you first here. Who do you have winning this game between the Packers and Steelers, and why?
I'm going to go with the Steelers. They're 3-2 at home. Packers are 1-3 on the road, and I think their one road win was against the Bears in Week 1. That was the last time I think that offense actually looked really potent. For me, I just think this Steelers defense gets the job done more consistently. I think this is a very ugly game. I think you said it before, like 13-10. I could see like 16-9, like English. The Packers not being able to score a touchdown, especially Christian Watson is still on the injury report as questionable. So it's just I just see the Packers really struggling in this environment.
Yeah, I'm going to go. My prediction 4-2 is going to be the final score. 6 safeties throughout. No. Even though it's possible, both these offensive lines suck. But I'm also going to go with Pittsburgh Steelers. I just feel it's going to be at home, and I just think the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive front is going to give Jordan Love too many fits.
Yeah,
with a super young receiving core with Green Bay, I don't think he's going to be able to overmatch maybe some of the flaws on the secondary of the Steelers. Not saying that there's many, but I think there's still areas that they can improve on. And I don't know if they're going to be able to utilize that, especially if Christian Watson is still hurt. Now, on the flip side, I think they're going to be able to do just enough against this Packers defense to where they'll be able to just get a lead and then be able to maintain it. So, but who knows? Matt Canada can find a way to blow it. So, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good game, pivotal game, and still somehow keep Pittsburgh in the playoff hunt. They're like the weirdest 5-3 team.
They really like they shouldn't have beat the Browns. They shouldn't have beat the Ravens. And then like they lost 30-6 to the Texans. Like that is just such a weird.
Honestly, you can make an argument they shouldn't have beat the Rams because that should have turned the ball over on down.
That is true. He did not. Kenny Pickett did not get the first down. Although to be fair, that only would have tied the game if they'd gone down and scored a touchdown.
Well, but still, and That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair. And then they get blown out by the Texans.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
which doesn't look as shocking now, actually. But anyways, it's going to be very unique. I'm curious to see how both teams do.
Yeah, so we're both going with the Steelers here. Let's go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. And leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this cross-conference matchup of the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.